gonna put them together like this. Yeah. Come on, y'all. We're gonna tell you everything that the devil says. Yeah. Everything that the devil stole, God give it back to me. Everything that the devil stole, God give it back to me. We're taking everything that the devil stole, God give it back to me. Everything that the devil stole, God give it back to me. He had my joy, he had my peace, he had my peace, he had my faith, he had my faith. Want everything, everything that the devil stole, yeah. God's gonna give it back to me. Everything, yeah. Give it back to me. Everything that the devil stole, God give it back to me.
Welcome to the Miss Juneteenth pageant.
I will never get over seeing Miss Juneteenth cleaning toilets.
The winner of Miss Juneteenth will receive a full scholarship to any historically Black institution of your choice.
Good luck. I know that you are looking to replicate your success.
What's her problem?
I beat her.
When we get the new place, we can bring you on more regular. I hate to see you working so hard.
I'm doing the best I can. I don't have the rest of the money.
We don't do credit. We don't do layaway.
You got something for her account?
You know I can't carry that kind of money on me, girl. I'll be right by y'all this time.
I've been holding it down a long time around here. She my dream now. I'm gonna make sure that she's something that we ain't.
If I make the dance team, I can get me a scholarship.
I ain't gonna have my daughter out there dancing like that.
Ain't no school handing out no full ride for that.
You better hope your grades turn out right. Where's your homework? You worry about the wrong thing.
I need you focused on your studies.
Miss Juneteenth is here to prepare you for the future. Your dinner knife.
That is your salad knife. One would surely not eat the main course with that.
We are expecting greatness.
Why you making me do it? Didn't do nothing for you.
So get up and clap your hands.
I better not ever see you at my house again.
You always embarrass me.
I'm not cute. Or built to suit a fashion model size.
That's my baby.
Phenomenal woman. That's me.
Ooh, the good news. Lord, the good news.
Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Listen, Honey Child. We are going to be talking this evening about spiritually transmitted diseases. And I am your host, Sharice Stern, and we are live on Facebook, Miss B. It is in the Listen, Honey Child group, and I just did share it on Facebook on my regular page. So you guys are welcome to go in and share that. And I did. Hey, Eco, did you want to weigh in on this topic too, or you just want to be a listener? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, so I did put I put that in there. Where are we at? Private chat. Here is the link.
I got it
If you
off
guys would
Facebook.
like to go ahead and share it. So welcome and thank you guys for joining us. We are going to be talking about spiritually transmitted diseases. And I tell you, you guys, I did have to pray about this and meditate because, talking about topics like this can invoke some fear in people. Okay, because people are not always ready to tackle the deeper things. Now I always use the Bible. I don't know what you all use, and that's fine. But I always use the Bible for my references, and I, weigh everything out. As far as testing the spirits by the Spirit, but I also am very much, excuse me, into allowing other people to express their spirituality and how they have come to terms with elevating and healing and those type of things. So I always want to give an open door to that because and it's not as some people would call it dibbling and dabbling. There are people as just as myself. I've been running for the Lord a long time. Not just
Amen.
not it haven't just been the last couple of years that people have been knowing me since I've been more public. My journey began at 5 years old when the first Bible verse that I ever learned was, "Blessed are you when men shall revile you and persecute you and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake." And I have dealt with that kind of thing. And I'm sure, Envy, you probably dealt with that kind of thing, as you are being more vocal about your own spirituality. And then even Chanel and Bernadette, I'm sure that you all may have run into some challenges on your spiritual journey as well. And so that's what we're all about here. We're all about healing. One thing about it is that on earth as it is in heaven, there is no division. There should be no division in the kingdom of heaven, and that is what we are striving for. Heaven on earth in the land of the living, not living in this life in some type of horrible hell just to have one day have a wonderful life. But from what I've been told in the word, we should be able to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And we do that by healing. We do that by, elevating, by, shedding our skin, shedding the darker things about our nature. We are both divine and dirty. Okay. And we need to make sure that we understand that because no one is wholly good or wholly bad. And I mean that with WHOLLY. Okay, so I have some. Thank you guys for joining me today. Everybody that is here is supposed to be here. So I'm just gonna go, clockwise. I've got Miss B here, Bernadette Williams from WGHP 102.4 FM, Williams Go Hard 1. Go ahead, Miss B. Introduce yourself to my listeners and viewers.
Once again, I want to thank everybody for allowing me to join on this platform. I am streaming live from Southern California, and I go by the real Miss B. So that's you can follow me on Instagram as well, the real MZB.
All right, and go ahead, and I want you to introduce yourself more and let us know about this event you got coming up.
Well, okay, so I am an MC and I am a host. I have my own radio and television talk show, originally out of Detroit, Michigan. And after moving to California 5 years ago, I am now partnered and teamed up with a dynamic comedy duo, Alfred and Seymour. I actually was just in Salt Lake, so you can check out some of the footage, but you still got time to head down to Utah. The state fair is going on for 10 whole days.
Okay.
And it goes on until the 19th. So we started this tour on the 9th, and Alfred and Seymour is still in Utah, but I had to fly home. But what's happening is they have, this is their second time performing at the Utah State Fair. And they're comedians. It's a comedy act that you've never seen before. They do it in their own way. It's not your typical type of comedy. And me, myself, I introduce them, bring them onto the stage and, keep the crowd engaged. So if somebody needs me to be available for MC and booking and you would like for me to fly to your state, I am available. And Alfred and Seymour would love to join us, join in with me too. So we are available and we are currently on tour. So
awesome.
You can purchase tickets at www.utahstatefair.com. And I mean, those brothers, you got to give it up for them because they are on stage not only for 10 days, but 3 times out the day. So they putting in some real hard labor.
All right. And I'm sure you are too, being the host that you certainly are. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us here tonight. I also have, I would like to say that we're going to become from some friends. I'm just speaking it into existence. Tarot Queen of Swords, Envy Whom. met this lady just on a live on Facebook, and she has, quickly become an intriguing personality. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Envy.
Yes. Everyone calls me either Envy or Queen, Tarot Queen of Swords LLC.
Okay.
I speak my mind. I'm on my spiritual journey. I help those who need advice, suggestions, healing. I have my own business, which is what I do. I sell sage, Palo Santo, crystals, and I also have an event that I'm going to be a vendor at on September 25th. It's in Dallas. I'm originally from Louisiana, but I'll be in Dallas that weekend for Dallas Pride at the hall with Tasha and Shay Jackson. So if you want to catch me live in Dallas, you can come see me at that event at the hall for Dallas Pride. That's me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me here again tonight. You were on our show last week, and we really did have some great insights and discussions from you. So I appreciate you coming back again. And then I have my friend, and I've worked with this young lady before, Chanel Adams, so Chicago, from Transform Production. We did a beautiful letter LGBT series a few years ago. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Chanel.
Well, first, thank you for having me on. You're an amazing person.
Thank you.
Also, I do, like you said, I have a beautiful letter, which is a web series. It's a 5-part series. If you want to check it out, it's on YouTube. Again, it's a beautiful letter starring myself and Tony Fields. I am a director, a producer, and I'm an actress as well. If you want to check out any of my other work, you can follow me on Instagram. A Transform Production. My IG handle is A Transform Production on Instagram. If you want to check it out. I do have this. Well, it's not my event, but I was just trying to put it out there to see if if anybody would be interested in it. It's the 48-hour film festival. We have it here in Austin, Texas. I'm based out of Austin, but I'm from Chicago. So if anybody would like to be a part of the 48-hour film festival, just hit me up. Let me know. Facebook, Chanel So Chicago Adams. It's basically a weekend of film. You have 48 hours to come up with a script, write it, and edit it. It's very creative. It just shows your creative side. Just let me know if you want to be a part of it. Very interesting.
All right. Well, that gives somebody a chance to kind of explore their filmmaking, dreams. And I mean, if you can make a film in 48 hours, I think you're doing pretty good. But I mean, for something like this, you would probably go into it with some concept of what you're going to do, right?
Right.
And it's a horror film festival. So is that what you're going to be looking for?
Actually, it's not a horror. They make you very intrigued. They give you the topic the day of. So they give you 2 topics. You don't know what it is as of right now. They give you a topic and an object to use. So once you get that topic, then you have 48 hours to write a script and edit the film.
Wow, that's amazing, girl.
I know, right?
I did it like 2 years ago, and I thought it was like she said, it's really, about if you're really into filming, so I thought it was really amazing. It shows your creative side. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Oh yeah, we definitely got to connect. We definitely.
Yeah. See?
Okay, that's what this platform is for. But tonight we are going to be talking about spiritually transmitted diseases. Okay. Now I know I sent y'all, some little stuff to kind of give you a primer as far as the direction that we're going to go tonight. But really, it's kind of gonna be it's going to be a little bit off the cuff. I've prayed about it. I've prayed for spiritual authority and power in this situation. And so that is how I plan to proceed. And so when we are talking about spiritually transmitted diseases, I think I want to bring this this visual up and just read it here. The reality is that not everything in life is love and light, as is the slogan for many spiritual seekers. Pursuing the light and living enlightened, raw, and deeply interconnected existences is also about setting yourself on fire. Now, that's not literally, okay? But it is about creating an inferno of your false beliefs, illusions, and separating desires, ideals, and prejudices. Okay. Now, that's quite a statement. And like I was saying before, I think it was before we got on, or it could have just been recently, we are both divine and dirty. Okay. And so, in order for us to truly heal, okay, we have to look at those dark things about us and where they came from, okay, so that we can cut it away, so that we can heal. And when it says burning it out, we get purified by the fire. When we set those things, when we say set those things on fire, that we get rid of those false beliefs, those illusions, those things that separate us from God. I saw somebody did a post today saying, list all of the things that are not in the Bible, that people say and all of that kind of thing. And so when we look at these spiritually transmitted diseases, then those really come from other people that are spiritual. They really don't come from non-spiritual people. Do y'all agree, or does anybody want to step in on this?
Ooh, child.
It's a lot, I know. We were talking, I was looking at this, and go ahead, and I hear you. I hear you hemming and hawing. Come on in.
Well, I mean, I can testify and say it comes from spiritual people also. You will be criticized, ridiculed by others and their beliefs. Everyone has their own beliefs, and I'm not here to judge anyone, but I find a lot of times that ridicule and those spiritually transmitted diseases come from those who a lot of times are spiritual. They inflict some of that pain onto others, and they may sometimes use it in an abusive manner in order to control. So, I mean, I would say that would be totally correct in regards to not coming from spiritual people. You just have to find a balance between the two, because, as our previous conversation on the last show, sometimes you have to set those healthy boundaries, and sometimes people will cross them, and a lot of times they are spiritual, quote unquote.
They are, because I was looking at this list, and this spiritual bypassing I actually got caught up on, but we're going to take that, a little bit later. But looking at the spiritual ego and even fast food spirituality, I see that a lot in this day and time. It's one of those have it your way type of spiritual things, where people want to come in and and order up their spirituality. I'll take this and I'll leave that and all that kind of thing. I mean, does anyone have an opinion about that?
Say it again, Cherie. Say it again.
The fast food, the fast food mentality, the spirituality. I know that this happens a lot, and just coming from the church myself,
Yeah.
a lot of times people, I'll go to church on Sunday for an hour or two, get my little feel good, go home and spend the next 7 days not in any kind of prayer, not in any kind of meditation, not doing the things that whatever their spirituality and beliefs tells them to. I mean, sometimes you won't even recognize them, outside of their environment for spirituality.
Well, yeah, you can't really, I can't really speak on, what others may do, but I do understand, like, there are times when, in my church, we're going 40 days. And for me at that time, it's like, what y'all want us to eat? What y'all want us to do? What? And I've had that experience as to where when you do go ahead and focus in on it, when you do go ahead and actually obey, within that 90 days, things can change. Things can, it seems to happen. I mean, every time we go on this fast that I've noticed during, these times where the church, they recommend it and the pastor recommends it, it actually has been beneficial to me, and you actually will see the purpose of it. So I just could only say I recommend it. You won't know, and you can't really see the vision until you try it, and see it manifest until you try it. And I wasn't always the one that wanted to do it. And when you say you got to go home and read the Bible within these 40 days, and you have to come off the internet, and you got to stop eating all these certain types of foods and everything. You totally got to.
So in that case, you're saying, so I get it, because the fast food spirituality also goes with this ritual of fasting that you're saying. So you're saying, okay, if you do this fast in 90 days, then you're going to come out on top, ascended, healed. And then, but during that time, if something goes wrong and you break the fast and you do this, then what are you feeling like you're crushed and got to start all over, or what?
You know what? Nah, not me. I just pretty much be like, well, it was hard, you know what I'm saying? But I just try to stay diligent as much as possible, but I don't beat myself up about it, I just I try to do it as much as possible, because I can truly say that that 40-day fast is really hard. It's something difficult to do, and you have to really be grounded and have a lot of discipline with that. But it, like I said, it is something that's worth a try. And the most you can do it, the things, and the farther you can go, I think you can really start seeing the benefits.
So, I mean, and Envy, I'm going to ask you now, of course, Bernadette got into the ritual of fasting, and, there are some definite spiritual rewards from fasting. In doing something like that, is that to say that, can't you be spiritual without doing something like that, without fasting, without doing that? But then there is a denial of the flesh that the Bible talks about that we're supposed to do, that is supposed to help us to get closer to God as well. But I don't think it's something that you do just as a, I'm gonna do it now, and then, if it doesn't work, then I'm not gonna, then there hasn't been any benefit obtained to it.
Well, I'm spiritual, not religious. But for me, in my spirituality, it's a lot of times where maybe if I don't meditate, or I meditate at a later hour, or say I didn't meditate today and I meditate tomorrow, then I find I may get frustrated. I may anger easily. So, the two could go hand in hand, even within the church, as well as, with me, with spirituality. They could go hand in hand. They have an adverse effect if you don't, follow your journey, what is set forth, or what you put in front of you as far as a guide to say, hey, look, this is what I'm going to follow in order to elevate or ascend. So I've seen it happen. It's happened to me sometimes, where I don't center myself, or if I'm in between a reading or something like that, and I'm back to back and I don't meditate, I don't sage, I don't pray. In between those, I'll find, myself getting flustered. So the two could go hand in hand. She's correct in saying that, you can see the manifestations from following, your guide and what you choose to do as far as your journey, your spiritual journey. So yes.
So, and let me just get back to talking about spiritually transmitted diseases. Okay. So where would someone get a fast food spirituality mindset from? To say that you can do, 30 hallelujahs and 15 prayers and 16 days of fasting, and this is what's going to get you to the next level of your spiritual journey, because I know it doesn't work like that.
When I think about fast food, I'm sorry if anybody else wanted to chime
No,
in.
go
I
ahead.
apologize. Okay. When I think of fast food, you think of like a fast food restaurant, right? You order your food, you go around to the window, you pay for it, and there it is. It's quick, right? So there's no quick track to, ascending, elevating, manifesting. Everything takes time. So when I look at that and I see fast food spirituality, it's like everybody wants to reap the benefits of saying, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna
Right.
pray, I'm gonna fast, I'm gonna meditate this day," and then when I reap the benefits or the rewards, then I don't have to do that anymore. I'm already getting this and that and the third. The same way if you pay tithes or what have you, okay, I stopped or whatever. I gave this much money or what have you, and now I'm manifesting, I'm abundant, and life is going well. And then if you take that fast track to spirituality and you don't ground yourself and center yourself and stay focused and stay on your journey, I find a lot of people have been broken down to their bare knuckles, where it's like, okay, God, spirit, whoever you follow, okay, so I blessed you with this. You may have removed this from your life, but because you want to take the fast track and not follow the guidelines, okay, let me show you where you could end up. And I've seen people, things that happen to people. They get to this certain level where, okay, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. At their lowest and weakest point, okay, I'm gonna follow, what I need to do. I'm gonna do the right thing. And then once they get and manifest what they want from it, oh, I don't have to follow that anymore. That's what I look at as a fast track or fast food spirituality to me.
You're absolutely right. I definitely see that a lot because, and then the first time that they don't get whatever they prayed for or whatever, the first time a person doesn't get, whatever they may have been manifesting, whatever law of attraction they've been trying to, bring out of it, then they fall away. They feel that it doesn't work. They feel like it was for nothing, and without realizing that this is a lifelong journey. That the healing never stops, the learning never stops, the elevation never stops. Miss B or Chanel, did y'all want to weigh in?
Well, I agree with what she said. That's totally true. Because some people do start it and they feel like as if they get it, and once they get it, they don't need to do it no more. Of whatever, everybody has their own, religion they believe in. Like, I'm spiritual, so I do, meditate and things like that, and I carry stones. So, yeah.
So you don't follow an orthodox doctrine or plan. You basically just have your own relationship with God. Is that what you're saying, Chanel?
Correct.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of how I am. I'm still trying to get more deep rooted into how others may, meditate, and because I am trying to lose a lot of stress, become less annoyed by people and that's living a worldly lifestyle that try to tend to put their energy out onto me.
Right.
Well, that's one of those spiritually transmitted diseases that we're talking about.
I know, right? That's why I'm so glad to be on this topic, but because it's something that I am interested in. Even someone told me to light candles because I even deal with the mourning of my mother, and they was telling me like light a white candle, or when I think of her, and to pray over the candle and things of that nature. So I'm trying to find more people who have time to actually share their advice. But it's funny that
I can help with that.
We talk about these topics because I have someone that wants to be a spiritual coach and a guide, and she wants to charge me, and I'm like, well, I could go pray for free. I'm saying, I'm sorry. So it's just but I can understand if that's her profession, and if that's what she does. But she's contacting me, and she's trying to influenced me in that manner as to go swaying into more spirituality and me trying to become aware. But she's saying for me to even have her time, she wants to charge me. So I just don't.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I mean,
I
it's
think
funny.
that's that corrupt spiritual leader right there. Sound like
There
let me
you
mind my
go.
business.
Yeah, and you
There you
know,
go.
honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she actually pushes me away because she comes off that way, and I mean, she realized that I was in town, and she's like, "Hey, I could come by and see you," and I'm like, "For what?" She's like, "Well, because you need some holy oil," and I'm like, and she says, "I can get rid of all the negativity and just help you to." Come more spiritual, and
Oh, child.
she's like there's she's like there's she's like there's she says there's a dark aura that's trying to come against you, and I can help you with that.
Wait a minute.
And
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on.
So she really
When
trying.
we get off the live, you contact me because baby, it don't require all that. What is she talking
Well, I
about
want you
anyway?
to speak on that, Izzy, because that
Please
is
do.
because a lot of people are out here actually truly have a desire to seek, and they fall prey. They become victims of people who do not have their best interest in mind. And if you can't, I know that the word is good for profit and all of that kind of thing, but if your gift is not freely given or freely available, then it's really not of any use to the Most High. That's just how I feel about it.
yeah, I mean,
Yes.
I whenever I want to help, and if I go into a profession that as far as with whether it's serving the homeless or helping mothers and children around the holidays, things, I do it kindly out the goodness of my heart, and for her to just sit and watch my posts and then say, "Oh, you're having a bad day,"
Child.
and I'm like, yeah, I am actually, and rather her just talking me down out of the the energy that I may be receiving at that time, she'll say, "Oh well, I charge, contact me, and then I can help you with all this." And she wants to even meet up with me and everything. So I don't know, but she charges like $100 an hour.
That's not, baby. Look, come here, Miss.
Wait a minute.
Right there. That's like a narcissist right there, right?
Hey, I don't know if it's because of COVID or these prices. I don't know where these prices came from, but yeah, she's pretty expensive. So I'm like, no, I don't need none of that. I'm good. I'm gonna stay away from that for right now.
But I can tell you, like with the candle, like what she said about the candle to light a
Well,
candle.
no, that was actually somebody else.
Oh, that was somebody else?
Yeah.
But I can agree with you on that. Like I lost my mom too as well. And somebody did tell me to, light a candle, like sage and just talk. Like I'm pretty sure it's gonna be weird at first, but at the same time, it's like you will get the habit and you will get that energy to where it's like, okay, I can do this. It's like basically you're talking to, you're the person that you lost.
Wow.
So, yeah.
But I want to come back to this. What she
And there are
talking
other
about.
tools.
I want to come back to that part because with all of this extra that's going on, even the suggestion of you having a bad day. Come on with me, Tarot Queen of Swords, and see if we can't work this out, because that in and of itself is a transference of negative energy. That's a transference of a spiritual thought, idea, things like that.
To me, that's a spiritual narcissist as well as a spiritual corrupt leader, because I have, people that I work with, and if I know they're having a bad day, they in tears or they make a post, I don't say, "Oh, you're having a bad day." I call them and I say, "Are you okay? Do we need to talk?" A lot of my services are given on the muscle; they are not charged, and I, as even as a consumer, am not willing to pay these ridiculous prices to say, "Oh, well, let me get a reading or let me do this." There are things that I can give you that I know personally that will help you deal with the loss of your mother. And it's not just burning a candle. There are other things you can do. You can create an altar, like in remembrance, like they do at church, in remembrance of her, as well as, you know, things she may have liked that you can put there. You know, that's another conversation, you know, on the back end. But it's not just about the money all the time, because my gift I shared to people freely and willingly. I don't hit them up and I see them having a bad day. Hey, come get a reading, or I could do this or that. I say, hey, do we need to talk? And when I hit you with that, do we need to talk? That means you need to hit my line and you need to tell me what's going on so I can help you, so I can talk you through some things. You having a bad day. You know, people want people that they can go to and feel comfortable with. And sometimes they don't have that in their corner. And that's why I do what I do.
Right.
And so I was, you know, as far as people talking and the words that people use, you know, you just have to, you know, counter it, because people speak negative words all the time. And you have to listen to the things that the Holy Spirit says about you, what the things that God says about you, to counteract that. Because even the most well-meaning people, they will come to you and, you know, be all, you know, oh, you poor thing, you're so, you know, desperate, and, you know, and you're so, you know, things are going so bad for you. And that's like that's like putting into action those negative thoughts and negative feelings and that negative power and negative energy.
Right.
Okay. That is, to me, I call that a spell. I call that witchcraft. Anything that speaks any kind of negativity into your life, anything that even causes like what they call a trauma bond. Okay. You know, when you deal with people like this, sometimes people will come into your life and, you know, and create a bond with you based on trauma. Okay. And based on you feeling like you can't function without them, or if they leave your life, then your life is just going to be terrible and it's going to be destroyed. That's how a lot of people get caught up in codependency, which is considered, to me, I consider another spiritually transmitted disease. You know, feeling like you cannot go on if somebody was to leave your life, or anything like that, or being naming, blaming, and shaming, and all of that kind of stuff. That those are the things that create those spiritually transmitted diseases.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. You know, when you brought the topic to you know, to my attention, it was funny because you were saying that I think there was a misconception of my post, and at the time, well,
I
no,
I even started to screenshot it, because it wasn't the post itself, because, you know, I feel like I know you as a person, but I know that, you know, for you it was a self-help thing, but even looking at it, to me, I felt like that statement could help somebody else.
Well, yeah, and I was hoping that's the point of it, because a lot of people, you know, so the topic at hand was, you know, if I could be quite frankly, was speaking in reference to intercourse. And, you know, a lot of people, I feel, have emotional scars as to where they want to jump in and out of bed with other individuals and things of that nature, because they're damaged, they're hurt. And that is like a disease that, for me, that mentally they're battling. Low self-esteem, low, you know, they're looking to be noticed, and they want attention and love in places to where, you know, they could find it in wrong places. And I, you know, my point was to say, no, I'm not that, I'm not damaged in life as to where I have to sleep, you know, jump in and out of bed with individuals. I have a more, I have a high self-esteem, confidence level, as to where sex isn't what I desire or want, and I could let it go before I jump in and out with different and various partners.
Yeah.
Come on
And
now.
sometimes, I mean, just like you were just saying about the other lady, she was using her spirituality really to try to get you in bed. That's just how I looked at it, and sometimes
Yeah. Okay.
that can be the case because spirituality can be very attractive. Okay. And if you're a high vibing individual, that's like moths to a flame. But for a person to use that, and in a way that's going to cause um a person to latch on to them in some obsessive type of a way, or to for them to use their power, because it is a powerful thing, but to use their power in a way that's going to harm an individual to where they're not going to be able to break loose when it's time to break loose.
And you know what? It's good that you brought her back up, because I wanted to say, I feel like there are people on this earth who have callings, and I guess you guys would feel that with the spiritual realm and element of it, you can feel the energies, the vibrations. And so, like I said, I'm still learning all that. But for me, when I see people make posts, and when I see people talk negative, or when I see people hurting, I've always known that I've had a calling to where I want to check on them, and I see, because I have a story, a testimony, I can often relate as to where I can give a piece of advice that can be encouraging. And yeah, I'm not out here trying to say like, hey, because I've been through this and I can help you throughout this situation, I want to charge you. No, that's just something within me spiritually that I recognize, and I see an individual hurting, and so therefore I want to genuinely help you. And so that's why it's important and a good thing for me to join into these type of conversations, so people can really see my spirit, so people can really understand where my heart is, because I think there's a lot of misconception. I do a lot of
you post or whatever on the internet. That's fine. That can definitely be misconstrued, and it can cause people to come towards you in a certain type of way. And if they feel like they can gain that advantage, but they have to have had that motive to come towards you in that way. As opposed to you genuinely meeting somebody that has your best interest in mind. This is the post that we were talking about where you said love doesn't live here anymore. I don't want no new friends. I care less about sex. I'm not interested in meeting nobody new. I'm on the same page as my wife. I'm good by myself. I'm completely satisfied with me, myself, and I. And so I was looking at this, is that, sometimes when you come into contact with different people and different energies, okay, and then people do come towards you for their different reasons, then it does make you want to be shut off, because you don't want to be, transferring even, and it's not just sex that you can transfer these different spiritually transmitted diseases. It's not just sex, it's through different types of relationships, friendships. You can even have these issues with family, with your own children sometimes. Chanel, where'd you go?
I'm right here. Sorry.
But I mean, do y'all understand like where I'm coming from on this, like with this picture? Okay. And you can look at, all of it. Nobody here is, innocent in the way of, at least I don't know. But this says, and this is not a plug for, for marriage and all that kind of stuff. But when you are unmarried, okay, and then you have casual sex, or you have casual relations with people, you may think that you're practicing safe sex and protecting yourself against sexually transmitted diseases. But what are you using to protect your soul?
Yeah, your mental state.
Your mental state, yeah.
And I'm sorry, y'all. I don't mean to keep jumping in, but I do go through. I battle, because there are times when I get lonely, and there are times because so to understand me and to understand where my mind goes at times. I'm an only child. I lost both of my parents at the age of 18. Well, my dad I lost at 16, but then I lost my mom at the age of 18. And so I've been in traumatizing situations. Like someone has said, like, man, you could have PTSD and not even been through a war. And I'm like, wow, I never thought of that. And so
That's
there are
true.
times where I will want to gravitate towards individuals, but I'm not looking for sex. I'm just looking for attention. I'm just looking for companionship. I'm just looking for someone, to be around me, because I don't have brothers or sisters. I don't have my parents anymore. I actually moved to a whole different state, and to believe it or not, I only have associates or acquaintances in business, but there's no other people that I associate with as far as like hanging out, going to the clubs. I'm not doing none of that. I'm either at home with my children, or I'm basically so engaged into work as to where I don't just have that friends. And until I met, I would say this, my daughter's teacher, who actually we go hiking, or we'll go different places as far as like to get out the house and keep my mind, because there are times where I will fall into a depression, and so these are times where my faith is tested, my mental state, as far as where I at on my spiritual journey, would tend to I would still say be tested, because I'm very high spiritual as far as my beliefs and my faith. And
well, you're going to be tested. You're going to be tested all the time. It's the journey is not it's not a destination. It's a journey. And it every time, and really and truly, every time you move to a new level, there's gonna be a new level. Have y'all heard that? New level, new devil. The more your faith is tested, the more it's going to be required of you. Okay, that you prove the Lord in your life by that test of faith. It's going to be required. It's required that you prove it, especially if you profess it. If you say that the Most High is my God and He gives me my whole supply, and it's Him that I'm here to please, not my own self, not my own ego. I'm not here to make myself look good. I'm only here to do His work, to glorify His name, to help someone else heal. That is going to be tested. Okay.
Nice.
It's always going to be tested, especially when you proclaim it, because somebody out there is going to say you a lie. Somebody is going to say that you don't know what you're talking about. Somebody's going to say that you don't need to be teaching, that you don't need to be preaching, that you need to sit down and shut up, and that what you have to say is irrelevant. Somebody's going to do that just because of the enemy of your soul, here to destroy what the Most High God put in you in the first place. Okay, so I like this little meme that I found. God alone knows the fragility and vulnerability of a fractured self-esteem, and all of us have that. For somebody to tell you that they don't have that fractured self-esteem, I don't care if they can be brought up in the best of homes, in the best of situations, and there is going to be something that they're going to need to heal from. Okay, something that whether even like I said, even if it's neglect, even it's those somebody may not have ever laid a finger on them, but they didn't receive the love, that's just the type of world that we live in.
So true.
That is true. I agree.
So we have to get surgical with this spirituality thing. Okay. If that's what you're going to do, we have to get surgical with it. We have to, understand what we're dealing with. We are dealing with a spiritual battle. We're dealing with spiritual warfare, and it doesn't matter where you fall in this, as far as like what you say is your religion, this, that, or the other, you're still going to have to pick a side. Anybody agree?
It's so true.
Agree.
Huh? What'd you say, Tarot Queen? I'm sorry, did you say?
I
Okay.
think we had this conversation last time. Oh, sorry. We had this conversation last time. You have to pick a side. And I think I made a post, what was it, yesterday or today? It says, a lot of people would choose Satan if he was popular.
Okay.
And for me, it spoke volumes because no one has this guidebook as to where you're supposed to go, how you're supposed to follow your journey. Of course, like you said, new levels, new devils. But with everything that we're talking about up to this point, spiritual transmitted diseases are real, with soul ties, with the manipulation, with the because people will find that they have a gift and they'll use it to their advantage in a negative light. And it goes back to what Miss B was saying. She was basically trying to manipulate you to work in her favor, and that's a whole set of other things that could happen to her, karma and all things like that. But we do have to become surgical with it, and that's why I chose the name Tarot Queen of Swords, because I tell people, look, I'm surgical with this. I will cut you off, cut ties. I notice the red flags. If it doesn't add up, I gotta subtract myself. It's just what it is.
Yeah, and being surgical, that means going and cutting away that deep, what do you call it? Away the infection, because the infection of spiritual diseases goes very deep. I mean, on the flesh, on top of the skin, you can see a wound. But when we're talking about spiritual wounding, it's we're talking about going deeper into not only the things of God, but going deeper within, because you have to go deeper within yourself in order to even discover some of those cancerous things that that may not be right there on the surface. Because like I said, this is spiritual warfare, and we're talking about separating spirit from flesh. You know what I mean? We're talking about, and on both sides, that's what they're trying to do. I always say it's only two things, and I can't say I always say it, but that's what I've learned. There's a spirit of truth and there's a spirit of error. I don't care what label you try to put on it. That's just one thing or the other, and there's a battle for your soul either way. Either way is to separate your spirit from your flesh. And
Mom.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hear mom and I automatically respond.
My daughter, she doesn't realize I'm on air right now.
But even on this, as far as the spirit of error, Satan's craftiest propaganda is convincing people that he's not real, and I think that's one of the biggest. Issues that we as leaders and spiritual leaders and teachers deal with this day, because there's such a feel good thing out there that people want to put out there, that as if the enemy of our souls does not exist. They would rather you go along in life and just be right there on that nice little lukewarm ledge, okay, thinking that we don't have an enemy of our soul, and when we're done, we just go back to dust or water or whatever it is that we came from, and that's just simply not true. Are y'all still there? I think Miss B froze.
I'm still
Sorry,
here.
I'm muted. I'm still here.
I think you froze. Where'd she go? Yeah, she froze. Go ahead, Envy.
Oh no, I can agree totally. In life in general, you can just use family as an example. You can say, I want to do right, I want to be genuine, I want to help. And a lot of times when you're high vibrational, I think you mentioned that's like a moth to flame. People will latch onto that, and it will be draining. It will drain you. It's like, say for example, you're helping someone out, a family member, and you see them taking advantage of you. But because of the bond you have and thinking that, okay, this is my family, I'm trying to do right, I'm trying to show them that I care and that they have help, they will sometimes abuse that. So you have to take into consideration that, spiritually transmitted diseases are everywhere.
They
when
are.
A person feels like they can't manipulate you at a certain point sometimes, or if they want to you, or you.
I think I'm losing you.
Our trials, we all have our ups and downs, we all have our good days and bad days. So I can agree. It's a separation of the flesh from the spirit. I can agree to that.
I mean, I know that the Lord had to deal with me even about my youngest child, and not, giving in too much to where she's concerned, because of course she is my baby, but there can be some level of toxicity there. I have to admit it myself, because, and we do it with each other. We actually spoil each other, but we spoil it to the level of toxicity to where when either one of us is not able to do something for the other, then it's a problem. So
Yes.
those are one of those soul ties that I have to break as a mother, because that's going to handicap her, and then I also have to let her break away from me, because it's going to handicap me as well, thinking, having her to fulfill a place in my life that she's not supposed to be fulfilling. And that's what how it goes with really anybody. When you get when you have another person in your life doing something for your soul and for your spirit that you should be doing really for yourself. Okay. But in healing now, when we came in, we were talking about the event in a couple of weeks, and hopefully she's still listening. Overseer Hutton is having this healing service with the Free Zone experience. Okay. Coming back to the altar. So those of you who have been to church, or even if you haven't been to church in a while, or even if you just want an experience, okay, because I also know that she is very that she is also very open and open-minded, spiritually gifted, and a leader in her own right to be offering this to anybody. So you don't have to subscribe to any type of religion. I know that much. And you don't even have to have ever stepped foot in a church before. Okay. And the building that they're having it at is actually my home church, and, and everything. And we are definitely open, for people to come out. And so this is a service that I think is really going to, offer something that people haven't had in a while, which just is a place to be free, to be open, to be honest, and to be healed. Whenever, and like I said, I always use the Bible as a reference for myself, but whenever Jesus was ever healing, he asked the person, do you want to be healed? And that's like one of the biggest things, is that people, you have to want to be healed. You have to know, first, of course, recognize that there is a problem. This story right here, this man at the pool of Bethesda waiting for the angel to come through and stir the water. So the first one to get there, gets to get the healing. But we need to know that healing is not a competition. Anybody can have it. It's available to whoever wants it, but you have to want it. A person like Envy can't come up to you. Yeah, she see your aura, she see your situation, and she may even be able to read as an intuitive or a discerner that you have an issue or a problem, but you have to want to be healed. You can't even receive healing from a healer unless you want it.
Yes, that is so true. So true.
Absolutely. So you have to want it, and you have to go for it. Like I take another story, the woman with the issue of blood, she crawled on her knees, until she was able to reach out and grab her healing. And that's all the Lord wants us to do, is that if you need the healing and you recognize it, just reach out and grab it. You can get it, and you can have people like myself, people like Tarot Queen of Swords, any leaders, spiritually, that are gonna come to you and being real and authentic. You know what I'm saying? Where we're not gonna hold your past over you. I'm not gonna hold your past over you. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna try to use your past to help heal you, so you can get over those wounds. Okay, and I'm gonna let you come to me as just as yourself. I wouldn't want you to come to me with all of these preconceived notions, because then what I have to get you won't even give to you, won't even get through that blockage.
And
Right.
just to kind of come from the religious side or the church side of things, I had something miraculous happen for me. And you have to want to receive it, just as you mentioned. So what happened was on New Year's Eve, we went to church. That was, the thing during when churches were very open, and you would go into the sanctuary for your New Year's Eve service rather than be out in the streets shooting guns and things of that nature. And the year that I walked into the church and made that decision to go to these services on New Year's Eve, I had been mourning my mom's death for over 20 years. I mean, I'm talking about like during the holidays, or just during so another thing that happened is she passed during the time of my birthday. And so I was really at a place where I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt like I had been crying for so long out the blue. And I mean, you never could put a time frame on how long, someone that you love. But I was just at the point where I felt like I knew she wanted me to live for myself. I knew she wanted me to receive some form of healing. And so I didn't have anyone to go to as far as a spiritual coach and teacher. So the only thing I knew was to go to church. And what they had us do was write down everything that was plaguing us or everything that was hurting us during that time. And we wrote it down on a piece of paper, and he told us to then right before midnight to come down, and they had a casket. And he was like, we just gonna bury it. We just gonna bury it. And then he said, we're literally gonna bury the casket. And so everyone that believes in this, everyone that wants to receive this healing, claim it now in the mighty name of Jesus, and just go walk into your journey after that. And I actually wrote down the fact that I wanted to heal from my mom's passing. And it felt like such a release, just to have done that. And I even can remember, like somebody said you could write down and throw it in a bottle and then throw it into the sea or into the ocean, So it's just various methods that people can do when you want to actually receive, and it actually takes effect. But you have to want it.
Things, absolutely. And so, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a physical act to go along with what you're experiencing spiritually. As far as things like that, I do, I personally do, my own things, but the only thing that you really need in your healing is just your mind, your soul, and your higher power. Okay. Now we do those things like what you said with putting it in a bottle because it helps to give us some closure on the physical sense in the physical world, where I can say that I bottled this feeling up, and it's actually manifested itself into a thing now. So I'm going to bottle it up, and I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to put it away, and I'm going to bury it. I'm going to throw it out. And in your mind, that's kind of connecting your spirit with your flesh in that, so that you can have an act of completion to get over that trauma. So it's definitely, if there's something that you can do to feel more connected to what you're doing, I don't see that anything wrong with it. Tara Queen, did you want to weigh in?
People use different things and have different ways of dealing with things. That's a first for me, hearing the casket situation. But if that works for you, whatever works for you and your healing, only you know what is going to help you heal sometimes. You can talk to whoever you want to talk to, even going to God and feeling like, okay, not being patient and allowing, spirit to work for you. Sometimes sometimes a lot of things cannot just be enough. You have to go the extra mile to say, hey, look, how do I heal from this? I'm tired. Because what you'll find is that when you don't, and the things that you're doing may or may not work for you, when you don't, it causes havoc in other areas of your life.
Yes.
It could be your friendships, your family, your children. You haven't healed from this, and maybe it was something you wanted to tell that person or something you feel like you could have done. And now your daughter walks in or your son walks in, and now you're taking it out on them because you're frustrated, because you're thinking about this and that. It can trickle down in different areas of your life. So however you choose to deal with it and handle it and heal from it, just be open to healing. Don't be open to being stuck.
Right.
There you go.
I
There you
agree.
go.
I agree.
Hmm. Go ahead, Chanel. You want to
No,
come in?
I was just agreeing because, like I said again, I lost my mom, and there's no time frame on grief. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you may one day have memories of her rolling down your eyes, and you know. But what I did for me, everybody has their own ritual. It's just how you deal with it and how you get over it, or not so much get over it, just how you deal with it. Like I did
Right,
a whole
because you may never get over it. That's the
right,
thing
right, right,
about
true,
it.
true. So I didn't mean to say like get over it, but
I know. I mean,
it's
I hear you. I hear you.
it's how you deal with it. But for me, I think I did a whole little ritual, and I wrote it on a piece of paper instead of putting it in like a bottle or something like that. I put it in a little fire pit, and I burned it, and it made me feel as if, you know, I'm not gonna say I forgot about it, but I kind of let it go.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I still think about my mom, but it's not as bad because now I can talk about it. At first, when I bring it up, you know, I had tears coming down my eyes. Now it's like I can just, you know, I feel like she wanted me to live and not just mope around and grief about like her death and stuff like that.
And yeah, she's right. It's so many various different things, and even like the Terror Queen said, that even trickled down into my marriage. You know, because it would be times where I was supposed to be happy, but unfortunately, you know, I'm sad, and my partner, my wife, would be happy, and it's like, now we're it's like, how can she understand what I'm going through? And she, you know, is on a spiritual element as to where she doesn't want anything to kill her vibe type situation. Right. And I'm sitting around here just
crying
in a funk, and it's like, you know, and this and then even my aunt had to tell me at one point, like, well, maybe you should take the pictures off the wall, and just to get through that time when it first happened. And because I used to be in a house, and I was feeling so, I mean, then it was bad as to where, you know, I didn't know what I was going to do because I was just crying. And I was just left in the house that my mom had left for me. And like I said, no brothers and sisters, nobody was coming really to check. It seemed like once the burial took place, nobody came to check on me or to see about me. And so then I'm often just at the house. So then finally my aunt, she did say, well, take the pictures off the wall. And that actually helped. And then it got to the point where I could now put them back up. And I actually have the pictures in my home now, or I can talk to my daughter and show my children, you know, this is your grandmother, and right. You know, and talk about it now as to the effect. So it's just like so many things that some people can do, but they have to want to receive it, which was back to what you said, Cherie. And you know, I wanted to receive that healing because it weighed on me for so many years.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, and that's a part of the healing that is needed, because you do want to hold on to those beautiful, cherished memories, but you don't want the pain of losing that person to hold you back or keep you from accomplishing what you need to be accomplishing in this life.
Yeah, because you know, I realized I do have a life to live, and I know that she didn't want me to be on this earth and be unhappy or even commit suicide at some point, you know. So it was just like, and then I would never even see her again, you know. So it's just like I wanted our spirits to connect. I do want to be able to see her again, you know, whenever my time comes, and so I always have to stay strong and diligent to want to receive the healing, to fight off the negativity that could come into my mind and thoughts. So that's where I've always been on my spiritual journey, is just to stay connected and grounded as to where I'm in a happy place, and as much as possible as to where, you know, I won't get caught up by the negative thoughts.
Right.
Terror Queen, come on in.
And that goes back to cord cutting. I think we spoke on that on the last show. So people don't understand with cord cutting, you can have different forms of it. That's why I said the whole casket thing, that was new to me. But what you did was cut the cord on the negative aspects, the negative memories that were causing you pain. That's what you did, and you didn't even know you did it.
And that's the thing. I'm so glad that you said that, Tara Queen, because at the end of the day, God, the Most High, He is going to reach you. If you go within and you seek Him and you're going to find Him. He's not found in anybody's one religion or way of thought or thought process or philosophy or doctrine or anything like that. He's available in those veins and in those vessels, but that's not the only place. You can find Him within. You don't ever have to have a book tell you anything about what to do. You don't ever have to have a teacher, a leader, a
Yes.
preacher, or anybody to lead you to God, because you are connected to Him anyway. And all you have to do is want to seek Him, and you will find Him even from within. And so that's why I was saying, like, I have nothing against rituals or anything. I like candles. I burn sage and incense and do all kinds of things that was going, but that is for your earthly self. That's we know that sage cleans the air. We know that lighting a candle and that ambiance and that and that flame can warm the spirit and warm the soul and bring us a certain level of comfort. We know that smelling even I like Palo Santo, even that wood, and breathing in that, that's for our physical earthly self. But it's just to reach the Lord, to reach God. He is the I am, which means He is in you. Okay. And so you don't need anything else other than just you and Him, but everything else, like I said, these are all things that he's given us, because all of these rituals that we're talking about now, lighting candles, burning sage, incense, all that is in the Bible. Okay. So it's perfectly fine that you do that, but don't do that in a replacement for a relationship. You understand what I'm saying? Don't think that you're going to light a candle and get in touch with God through lighting that candle. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So yes, light the candle. That's all for you right here and now. But just all you need to get is that that one line of communication, and He'll give you everything that you need.
And just you know what, I never knew that was in the Bible.
What?
The burning sage.
Yeah.
I just knew my family did it. Like ancestors,
the
my
actual
grandparents.
word sage is not in there, but incense. I mean, these are all rituals, and they were put out and ordained by God for for priests and the high priest to do, and and these were the things, these burnt offerings. That's where burnt offerings. The Lord God is the first one that made an offering, by slaughtering an animal when they sinned in the garden. God made that first sacrifice for sin. And so the first 4 books of the Bible are riddled with all kinds of rituals and incense burning.
Wow.
And the holy place. So that's one of the things that people don't even understand, the rituals that other people practice, and nowadays they call it witchcraft. It's right there in the Bible, the first 4 books. Just read them; it'll show you
Hello,
the whole
somebody.
thing. So
And it's funny that you say that too, because I've heard that in the past, like years back, that it was witchcraft, and so I just didn't know why people. Well, my family, I would say, like my I had like it was my mom's best friend. They used to do it, and I just thought it was like an elderly thing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know, like, but so it's kind of now. It makes more sense that you bring it up and you shed light on that. So now that I am actually aware, and out of almost 45 years, I didn't know that at all.
No,
so
absolutely. I'm telling you, I'm here to shed light, because there are so many good things that are there for you that people don't know about. The reason that God had a problem with sacrifices and burnt offerings and slaughtering is because people were not doing it with the right intention. Okay, so it became a stench in his nostrils because people weren't doing with the right intention. They were replacing their rituals with what should have been a relationship. So they was just doing stuff.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes.
It's people out here that just can be doing stuff just because you wear a cross around your neck or an ankh or some crystals, or just because you burn sage and that does not make you spiritual. That does not create a relationship with God. So that's why I always want to
Yes.
put out there that these are things that you do for just the natural man, for your flesh, for the things of the flesh to feel good. But the only gateway you need between you and God is just that channel of communication that you get from going within.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All
I
right.
love this night. Yes.
I do too, because it's so important that those of us, that are out here that are willing to discuss it, because everybody is not willing to discuss it. A lot of people fear spiritual things, and they fear even going into it. But you know what? There's a place for that, because God says we feed them with milk like a baby. Okay, there's only a few of us out here that can just cut it up and take the meat of the situation. Those of us who do wield that sword, okay, that sword is for cutting through meat so that we can have those deeper things and that deeper knowledge so that we can help set people free who do get bound up in half truths and myths and fables and all of those things that keep us separated from God.
So true.
Okay. Well, y'all, we've been
Ooh,
on here
child.
for a while. You know, I could talk about it all night. We could have a baby look, because they got them 8-hour videos on YouTube, but now but we'll let the people go, but we'll definitely talk about this again, because this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? So anytime any of you want to come back, and I'll always reach out and invite you, because I know that you have something to add to the equation. And I don't mind talking to people from different walks of life with different paths, different journeys, even different beliefs. Because the thing about it is, like I said, it's a spirit of truth and a spirit of error. And I don't care how you dress it up or label it, truth is going to be truth. Whatever, and that's just really the bottom line. So we just want to make sure, on my spiritual journey, as I heal, okay, as a healer, you have to heal yourself before you can heal anybody else. Okay.
Right.
All right. And so how does a wounded healer heal? By continuing to heal, by continuing to, to rise above and to do those things that other people might not be willing to do, and to be able to come out on the other side with a testimony that says, yes, this healing is available to you.
Amen.
Right. Right.
Ooh, child. Ooh.
Well, I got what I came for.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. Well, I'm repping Finesse Music Gang tonight. That's Anissa Finesse. I'm out there in Vegas. Also, the curators of Love Money Betrayed clothing line. Of course, they are one of our favorite vendors out here for the bonfire. And so they gave me this wonderful shirt this weekend, and so I'm repping them. They are helping us with Hot Pink Pride Radio. So if y'all know anyone who owns their own music, okay, and they don't mind wearing the label that they are indeed an LGBT artist, then send them my way, and we will play their video on one of our broadcasts. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. We're going to do this again, because there's things in here that we have not tackled, but this is, like I said, the premise of my show. Not every show, okay, but once, twice, 2, 3, 4 times a week. I am going to go into the spiritual matters of things. So thank you guys, and thank you guys for watching. And if you were blessed by this broadcast, please go ahead and share it to a friend or a group or a page. All right. Good night, y'all.
Will
See
do.
you later. All right.
Good
Bye-bye.
Good night. Thanks for having me.